The game on February 13th is expected to draw almost 100 million viewers in the United States. The Michigan hockey team continued its inconsistent season this past weekend, splitting a pair of games against the Ferris State Bulldogs. The Wolverines shut out Ferris State on Friday evening at Yost Ice Arena in an impressive 2-0 victory. But when Michigan traveled to Big Rapids on Saturday, a late goal gave the Bulldogs a 3-2 win. Michigan has struggled to find an identity this year, showing incredible skill on one night and then coming out completely flat for other games. They will try to get back on the winning track this Saturday as they take on Michigan State in Detroit at the Joe Louis Arena. And the Michigan's basketball team traveled to Purdue this past weekend and suffered another Big Ten loss, going down 69-59 to the Boilermakers. Noticeably absent from the team was star Manny Harris, who had been suspended from playing games without a public explanation from Coach John Beilein. Today, Coach Beilein held a press conference and released a press statement saying that Harris would return to games as usual. He didn't offer any explanation as to why he had been suspended and left several reporters scratching their head. Finally, as a sports broadcaster, I have always enjoyed picking on some of the weaker professional teams. Don't worry, Lions fans, you get the week off. I have a new scapegoat this time. This past Sunday, the New York Knicks hosted the Dallas Mavericks in New York City. Dallas blew out New York 128-78. The 50-point loss was the worst in the storied history of Madison Square Garden and made all Pistons fans feel a little bit better about Detroit's slow start to the 2010 season. I personally think the Knicks shouldn't really be a professional team anymore after losing by 50, but that's just me. All right, you guys, that's all I got for sports. Let's send it back over to Leslie and Whitson.
Thanks, Dan. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but don't go away because we have Spencer with all the political news you want to hear coming up.
Welcome back to Newsfeed. We have Spencer Smith in the studio with us, to give us all of our politics news.
Thanks, Leslie. Last Tuesday, Republican Scott Brown upset Democrat Martha Coakley in a special election to fill the Massachusetts Senate seat left vacant by the late Senator Ted Kennedy. Brown, who won with 52% of the vote, becomes the first Republican to hold the seat since 1972. This special election was a significant victory for Republicans who say the outcome signaled voters' dissatisfaction with the president, Congress, and their proposals for health care reform. Brown's win eliminates Democrats' 60-seat filibuster-proof majority in the U.S. Senate and puts into serious question the fate of health care legislation before Congress. Health care is expected to be a major focus of President Obama's first State of the Union address, which he will deliver this Wednesday. We can also expect the president to discuss the economy, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the status of U.S. aid to Haiti. Following the president's address, newly elected Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell will deliver the Republican response. Both the address and the Republican response will air on all major networks. Coverage begins at 9 p.m. Eastern. Last Thursday, the United States Supreme Court announced, earlier than expected, its decision in Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission. In a 5-4 decision, the High Court ruled that the government cannot limit political spending by corporations or unions in candidate elections, overturning the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act of 2002, also known as the McCain-Feingold Law. Writing for the majority, Justice Anthony Kennedy said, quote, "If the First Amendment has any force, it prohibits Congress from fining or jailing citizens or associations of citizens for simply engaging in political speech. The decision, which may have drastic effects for political campaigns in this country, drew sharp criticism from Democrats, including President Obama. In a video released by the White House on Saturday, the president said, quote, "This ruling opens the floodgates for an unlimited amount of special interest money into our democracy," close quote. Meanwhile, the California Supreme Court continues to wrestle over a case challenging the constitutionality of Proposition 8, a 2008 ballot measure that banned same-sex marriage in the state. Interestingly, an unlikely pair of attorneys, Ted Olson and David Boies, is leading the challenge to Proposition 8. Olson, a Republican, served as Solicitor General under President George W. Bush. Although they are now partners fighting for same-sex marriage, Olson and Boies faced each other in the famous 2000 Supreme Court case Bush v. Gore. Olson represented then-Governor Bush, and Boies represented Vice President Gore. That's all we have for politics tonight. Back over to you, Leslie and Whitson.
Thanks, Spencer. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have Dave in the studio with us to give us all of our weird news.
Welcome back to Newsfeed. I like that little change of pace, get some politics news in.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while, and it definitely is relevant to
since the election.
What's going on right now. Absolutely, yeah. In the election last year, we did a big special on that, but definitely. And just a reminder that the State of the Union address is going to be on Wednesday night at 9, so you should definitely tune in. And then after the State of the Union, tune in to Wolf if you're in the dorms to Channel 55 and watch Newsfeed. We'll probably be talking about that and some of the issues that Obama addresses in his State of the Union. So, yeah.
But right now, we have Dave in the studio to give us our weird news for the week. So Dave, what's out there?
Thanks, guys. Now, if you thought Pamela Anderson got married a lot, you have obviously never met this next person. An Israeli man just broke the world record with his 11th divorce. That's right, 11 divorces. Take that, daytime soap operas. The 50-year-old man says that he's been divorced about every 2 years or so. The man, who wished to remain anonymous for, whatever reason, said he divorced his last wife because she could not find a job and he was living off her money. How could this 50-year-old man be so lucky? He says, quote, "I send a hook out in all directions and the fish come on their own," end quote. Sign that man up for the next episode of the Jersey Shores. For those who want to take the more desperate to the more extreme, you may want to have a new strange solution. This past week's AVN Adult Entertainment Expo kicked off with a press conference. Who's covering these things with presses? About the world's first sex robot called the True Companion. The robot uses artificial intelligence to find the user's likes, dislikes, and can even speak with the user. Also included are 5 girlfriend personalities, including Frigid Farah, Wild Wendy, and Adult Martha. Kind of weird names there. If you'd like to own one of these own robots and lose any shot of finding an actual real girlfriend, they'll go on sale next week for about $9,000 a piece plus a monthly service fee. When the creator asked why he created this robot that is obviously going to start the future Terminator uprise, he said, quote, "After 9/11, I just wanted to give back. Thank you, America." And finally, a bit closer to home, a Detroit man was arrested during an undercover prostitution sting. The man evidently approached the undercover officer disguised as a prostitute, and the man claimed that he was a police officer and that she was under arrest. When the undercover officer revealed that she was in fact a police officer, he quickly ran away in a Ford pickup truck. Police eventually found the man and sent him to jail. That's it. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Dave. Sorry to cut you off there, but very interesting.